This is another video in the Squishy Ball series. The first one I did was all about the feet. This one's going to be about the hands. We're going to start with some sensory awareness, moving into some mobility, and then doing some strength work. So we're just going to put the ball down and begin with a little self-massage. And you can explore different kinds of touch and intensities. Nothing should ever hurt. And you can rub, you can squeeze, you can brush. So we're getting every single one of the fingers and even in between the fingers. Think about the places, on your hand that might not get a lot of touch or movement these days. You can even, spread the fingers apart. And then moving into the palm of the hand. We have all these beautiful arches, just like our feet. We can get down into this lower area of the heel of the hand, the carpal, and you can actually give it a little pull and drag so that your hand responds. It can actually move. This is that carpal tunnel area. So there's a lot of tendons and circulation, nerves that are running through this part of our hand. And you can do the same thing to the back. I don't know if you can see this. I'm actually doing a little massage here, and it's pulling my hand backwards. And then into the forearm. So we've got these two bones in the forearm, and they actually cross over each other when we do this twisting movement of our hand. And then all the way up to the elbow, and then to the upper arm and into the shoulder. So we did this with the foot to the leg to the pelvic half, because we want to not only wake things up, this increases our circulation and hydration of tissues and awareness. It also establishes relationship and the understanding that nothing in our body is operating on its own. You move your pointer finger, everything else in the body does, maybe subtle, but it's listening and it's responding. So we just want to create this connectivity, that if we use our hand, it's the whole body, that it connects deep into the center of us. And that's very developmental. Okay, now pause here, because let's just see what we did. Notice how this side feels compared to this side. And then let's do it on the other side. So moving into the fingers, tips of the fingers, fingernails. You can feel your tissues, you feel your bones. So we spend all day long with our bodies, right? But do we? So it's really nice to slow down sometimes and to spend a little time with ourselves in a really conscious manner. The more consciously embodied we become, the more vitality that we can create for ourselves. So just continue to move on up. Same thing we did on the other side, just moving into the lower arm, all the way up. So joints are places of connection. We want that energy to flow through them. And then all the way, you can go to the shoulder, the neck. I mean, you can connect your fingers all the way down to your toes. Maybe around the back. Oh, and then just take a little pause. So now we're more awake, we're more alive, we're more present, we're more centered and focused. Now we're going to move into some mobility, and we're actually going to have this nice balance of mobility and we could say stability or strength. So let's take the ball and widen your hand. Like, see how much you can spread between the fingers, and then let the hand just reach over this ball. Now the other hand is there for support. And starting this gentle squeeze, it's going to start from the fingertips, and then you gather that. So you start to squeeze a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. It's like your hand was trying to suck the ball up into the palm. And then you're going to slowly release. So this isn't a contraction, this is a condensing. And we're following it. We're getting so sophisticated with our sensing abilities, with our proprioceptive abilities, and then slowly releasing it, that we can have all of this beautiful control. And we gather, feel that intensity grow, and then releasing. How about we try this one more time? So instead of it just being this really heavily muscular, contracting kind of movement, it is very fluid. And then rest, and let's do the same thing on the other hand. And it's very much in relationship. So we start at the end. We're starting with the fingers. That is taking all of that energy inwards. We're lifting up through the arch, through the arches of the hand, and the ball is moving up into the arches of the hand to help us find that, and then slowly releasing. Now, if you take a peek at that area where that carpal tunnel area is, and you're giving this nice little squeeze of the fingers, and they're even, do you notice how it lifts up? That's what gets us into trouble with our wrists. We tend to flatten that area out because we don't have this activity happening in our hands when we're weight bearing on our hands. And let's do 2 more of these. We gather. And maybe you're even feeling how when you gather through the hand, it's traveling up the arm. The more you gather, the more you condense, the deeper it goes into your body. And then as you're releasing, expanding, it's softening and opening. So now we're going to take both of our hands and nice and wide, and let's add the lower arm, but you're going to notice, wait a minute, it's not just the lower arm, this is moving all the way up my arm. So the arms spiral. Everything in our body is spiralic and round. It's just like this ball. So I love using the image of a puffer fish. This just, omnidimensionality, omnidirectionality. And then what if you went the other way? And can you try to open the hand and notice how much pressure are you putting on your hand, and are all your fingers involved? Could be interesting to find out there are parts of your hand that are a little asleep, or maybe not. Whew. And then what if we imagined there was paint all over this ball, and we're gonna get it on our hands and our wrists, maybe even up the forearms. There's that beautiful rolling and spiraling. And then to finish this off, what if we used all of those beautiful little muscles in our fingers and we just crawled that ball along like we were a little spider? Anywhere you want. We could even take it around the head and the neck, on your face, on your head. And so all of this is touch. So can you notice you can still feel where the ball was when you're done, around the back and fancy. Oh, And then let's just bring it back to center. So I hope that your hands feel a little bit more awake and a little bit more hydrated and fluid and deeply connected to your center.